150, 160. He's gone.
What's up, everybody? So today I'm gonna be showing you guys how we're gonna install French drain MaksWerks style here on the property. And my biggest problem is every time it rains, all the water pools here. And I don't know if you can tell from the GoPro, but the concrete really kind of bows down right here, and all the water stands here. And this is kind of this clayey soil, and it doesn't really absorb very much water. So what we're gonna do is right here where it's the lowest point, we're gonna install this 12 by 12 drain bucket. And I actually have two of these guys. This is perforated PVC, and we're gonna run 20 feet of perforated PVC basically out this way, and then we're gonna backfill it with 1.5 inch river rock. Now I'm gonna go to Home Depot and I'm gonna rent a backhoe, and I'm gonna backhoe the shit out of this. And I've converted our trailer temporarily so we can put all the fill dirt in the trailer and then go out and dump it on the new property. But the first thing we have to do is we have to pull down this stupid old basketball thing. And really the only thing that's going to get in our way is there's a sprinkler line that runs right here all the way back to that point, just straight on. So we're going to have to hand dig around here. But the rest of this we should be able to trench. And so the plan is to get this pulled down and out of the way, go to Home Depot, get the trencher, or actually the backhoe all of this out, get all the box and all of the PVC joined up and set up exactly where I want it to be, and then go get the rock. So we're going to use 1.5 inch river rock. Is a truck strap designed for towing down trucks. Oops. We're actually gonna just flip that around there and hook it down here as kind of a starting point. And see where that gets us. Let's see how well this is working. Is it just bending? Well, no, it's lifting the concrete up a little bit. But might have to end up backhoeing out this concrete, and that's all right. I kind of planned for that. Let's see if. Well, that bent the shit out of that. So let's see where this gets us. Coming out with the concrete. Nice. Well, what we did for now is we just dragged it over here. So we can get this unhooked. Get that unhooked. This is why I always carry a tow strap. Never know what you're gonna need it for. All right, so this catch basin is 12 by 12 by, what is that, 13? So, generally speaking, you're gonna want at least 2 inches of rock underneath this thing. So I say that we're gonna trench, and we have to get underneath the sprinkler. So I'm gonna say we're gonna go 16 inches down and probably 14 inches wide, because we don't really need to go much wider than this. And this guy is actually gonna basically butt up against the outside lip of this is gonna butt up against the concrete right here. Well, you know what they say, no plan really escapes the battlefield, or test of the battlefield. And apparently when they ran my sprinklers, they ran them the entire length of this. And so the only way to dig all this out would be to do it by hand, and I'm not doing that. That's way too much work. So, new plan. All the water aggregates down here anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this box in here, run this right here. Alright, well, the plan is to go from here to basically where the sprinklers start, 10 feet, 24 inches out. And we're going to use this. And this is going to be fun.
Diamonds in the sky, you were shooting stars. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Diamond, 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 diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Diamond, 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 diamond. Shine bright like a diamond.
So I've kind of stamped down all the earth down here, and what's going to happen is you can see our bucket is basically about 3 inches below the concrete. What we're going to do is we're going to put down a layer of gravel first. We're going to put our bucket in, so drill a few holes in the bucket so the bucket itself can drain. And then we're going to put one 10-foot piece out this way. I decided I'm not even going to bother using the other one for a couple of reasons. First, this is a lot more volume than I kind of pictured in my head. We're going to fill this all up with rock so that that's level with the concrete or maybe slightly below it. And the rest is going to be rock, and you know, maybe eventually I'll buy a few bags of topsoil and throw a couple pieces of sod on it. But to be honest with you, I don't really give a shit. And so this is going to be where all the rainwater, the huge puddle that used to be here, will come down here and fill up basically the entire volume of this. And we're looking, realistically, it's about 12, 13 inches wide. I mean down here, because this bucket is 12 inches wide. So if I hop down here, this bucket is 12 by 12. So that kind of gives you an idea. It's a little bit more than 12 inches wide. Really all the way down, there's a few, so that's about 12 inches right there. So 12 inches wide and about 10 feet long. I might have to trim that thing down a little bit. The problem is I started running into where our sprinkler head is, which is right here somewhere. There's our sprinkler head. And so I didn't want to get too close to that. And as a result, we might have to cut like, I don't know, 6 inches off this pipe, or maybe I'll just squeeze it in there. I don't really, again, it's gonna fit just fine. The other nice thing is I drove the tractor over kind of this part right here a couple of times to create kind of a little channel here, and we're gonna stamp that down so that it kind of maintains that little channel right there. That way it'll help water run off in both directions. So I think that's pretty much it for the digging. I don't want to do any more digging. I rented this thing at 1 o'clock. It is, or like 10 after 1 or something. Around 1 o'clock, had to drive it. It's around the corner. It is 3:01. So it took about 2 hours, and I've never used this specific machine before, and so took a little learning, but once I got it going, went pretty good. The other reason we're going to stop right there is I have already overtaxed My poor little trailer. So this trailer has a tow rating of, I don't know, like 1,100 pounds or something, and I'm just merciless on it. But it's only got to make it out to Taylor, and we're going to take the back road, so we're not going to go on 80, 90 miles an hour down 130 with this. But we'll take some back roads out there, and we'll dump it later. Shouldn't be a big concern. This thing, I got to return it washed, so that's going to take a minute. I'm going to drive it out here into the street and just wash it off the best I can. And then we can go buy rock. So 20 bucks buys you about half a yard of this river gravel, which is about what I calculated I needed. And to be honest with you, based on the way the truck is sitting, I think they were a little generous at the yard. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put down a little bit right here and basically get our bucket set right. And then once I get the bucket set exactly where I want, we'll attach all the other stuff, and then we'll just start filling this thing up with gravel. Okay, so we basically have this at the right height. I'm kind of stepping down into it a little bit, so the water is going to easily flow down in here. But basically what we're going to do now is we're going to cut this PVC pipe and get all this put together correctly, and then we can just basically unload the gravel and just bury the thing. So I have this cap, and this cap fits on the same end that's supposed to fit on that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this right here, and that'll actually give us the length we need as well. Not very good PVC pipe. So now this should cap on like that. That right there is a perfect fit. Now, all we have to do is rotate that so the hole's pointing down. Back up the truck and start filling this thing. There we go. Obviously, we'll have some showers this weekend. I think they'll test the effectiveness of this. I think I ended up buying a little too little gravel, but it's better to buy too little and then go back and get a few bags and kind of fill and even this out a little bit. But it looks exactly like I wanted. If we come over here, this is basically level with the lowest point of the concrete. So the water should go right off the concrete and into the rocks, down into this this drain right here, and kind of just into these rocks in general, filter down. We dug out about a little bit more than half a cubic yard. So you can fit half a cubic yard, maybe 6/10 of a cubic yard of water down in there. So I'm pretty happy with the way everything turned out. I still got to dump that shit in the morning, but pretty pleased with myself, to be honest with you. All in all, it's about 6 o'clock. I know it's dark already, but it's just 6 o'clock, and so I spent maybe 5.5 hours on this, including picking up and dropping off the equipment, getting rid of the basketball hoop, and going and buying these rocks and stuff. So really not too terribly bad of a job. So talk about cost. I had a few estimates to do this similar work. Obviously they would have probably done a better job. They would have made everything even and stuff, but basically this same approach, it was estimates were between $1,500 and $1,700 from a couple of guys. One guy wanted like $3 grand to build some sort of walkway or something. I'm not even really sure, but this would cost between $1,500 and $1,700 to have it done here in Austin. And I spent $25 on rock, $50 for the bin, $15 on PVC pipe. So, oh, and $200 for the rental. So all in, you're looking at about $300 and 5 hours worth of work. So 5 hours worth of work, call it $1,000 bucks. That's $200 an hour to dig a ditch. So this is definitely one of those DIY projects it's a lot cheaper to do it yourself, unless you're really just terrified of something or whatever. So sprinkler works, everything works. I'm actually gonna wet this down. I'm gonna move everything out of the way, clean up, wet this down, and call it a night.